Good morning, students. Welcome. BBA first semester, first year, Unit 3, online classes for the chapter Organizing. So, in this third unit, we will understand this third unit through 7 video lectures. Lecture 1 is meaning, importance, process and principles of organizing, and a special lecture regarding span of management, formal and informal organizations, common organizational structures, departmentalization, authority, delegation, centralization and decentralization, responsibility, line and staff relationship. On these 7 concepts, we will understand this organizing chapter. That is Unit 3 of our first semester Principles of Management subject. Then coming to we'll try to understand what is organizing. It is a process of establishing structure for the organization. It helps to the manpower of organization to function systematically. Okay, we will construct these steps for a building. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, like that. We can't make it the step 7 at last. Like that, organization has to be divided into different roles, and different manpower should have to be given different powers and the responsibilities, roles. We have to divide them. So our job is to be systematically organized to achieve the organizational goals. That is organizing. As per the Heyman definition, it is a process of defining, grouping the activities of an enterprise. So we make one supervisor and we will give 4 or 5 assistants, and we design as a department, and we allot their duties, responsibilities, limitations for them, and also we assign a goal what they have to achieve. So that is organization. In same manner, we organize into different departments like production, what we studied in our classroom, production, finance, marketing, sales, operational, like that. So overall organizing is a process of grouping the activities of an enterprise, giving an authority and making a relationship between them to achieve the organizational objectives. Then coming to the principles of organization. Principles are fundamental truths, what they have to do, okay? They explain the relationships, generalizations, which are universally applicable and practiced in an organization. So, fixing a time, it is universally applicable, and a separate time for an organization, which is practiced in that organization. So, first principle is unity of goals. The organizing function should be directed towards achieving the goal effectively. Okay, you check with the metro train. Okay, the engine is in between the 2 coaches, which is organized. One is pulling, another one is pushing, and front will be the pushing and back will be the pulling, that one. So they are organized with the 3 cabins, which will be pull and push mode itself. So overall the objective of the metro train is to move forward and bringing back of the back coach, pushing the front coach. Overall its goal is to going forward with that. So all the organizations are divided and directed to achieve the organizational goals with a unity. And second principle is span of control. There should be a limited number of subordinates under a supervisor or superior. Optimal span of control can create an efficiency in goal achievement. Okay, so one supervisor can control 4 or 5 people. In same manner, one supervisor cannot control beyond his limits if he has to control 3 or 4 or 5 levels. Okay, one can be a master to the one person, not cannot be one can be a servant to a one person, not to be a servant to the many people. So there will be a possible of confusion if he is a servant to the many people. That's why span of control will be limited to the few subordinates or the subordinates of the department. And the chain of command, the line of authority from CEO to every subordinate position should be clearly defined and unbroken. There is a word is there, and one word you chant in the ears of one person and ask him to pass this message to the last person in the chain of 10 or 5 people, and the 5th person may not receive exact the same or maybe different version. So in this chain of command, from CEO to the class 4 employee, the order or the command should be same. It should be very clearly defined and it should not be miscommunicated and should not be different version. That's why when we are organizing a team or when we are organizing the department or enterprise, we have to make a note that how the command will reach to the bottom level, that is chain of command. And the principle of unity of command. Each subordinate should have only one boss. I already told you, okay? A servant can have only one master. He cannot have 4 or 5 masters or 2 masters. No person should report to more than one boss. Dual reporting could create confusion and conflict. When you are controlled by 2, and then imagine your situation, it's a very pathetic, because one will ask you to go and one will ask you to come. You have to stand in middle, where to go and where to reach. That's why unity of command is very important. That should be possible with the only one boss. Here the principle while we are organizing, we have to keep in mind, we have to make one boss and few subordinates. And the principle of delegation of authority. Delegated authority should be adequate to accomplish expected results. Managers must themselves make decisions with their authority. Only exceptional matters should be referred to the higher levels. Okay, a certain things, pandemic is going on, whether to impose lockdown or not, who has to take the decision? And the government of India already authorized the state governments. When the containment ratio is more than 10%, you can directly impose the lockdown itself. So there is a one command was passed to all state governments and authority was delegated to the state governments to impose lockdowns. And if there is a situation is very vast, means more than 10 or 20, 30%, then automatically central government team will be came into state government and study what matters that leads to more than 30 or 40% spread or virus is spreading like that. Okay, it will study that one. So whenever we are delegating the authority, it should be adequate and accomplish with expected results. Managers must themselves make decisions with their authority. State governments were given a power to a certain level. They can take their decision in their limit. If it is any exceptional cases, matter to be referred to the higher levels. These are the principles of organizing. One is unity of goals, span of control, and chain of command, unity of command, delegation of authority. Okay, then coming to the importance of organizing. Why we have to divide the work job between the people? What is the importance of organizing? If the job was not divided and there is a possibility of duplication and the cost of CTC, cost to company, will increase, few people will work and few people may not work. Okay, that's why it is better to divide the work. Divides work to be done into specific jobs and departments. So who has to do which work, we should have to be divide, that is organizing. Assign tasks and responsibilities associated with the individual jobs. So the manager of finance, his job is to identify the sources of finance, should be reported to the higher level and take them their permission and procure the money and will be allotted to the and give access or access to the accounts department for purchasing according to the budget. So he should not interfere into the job of marketing manager or marketing department. So the task was assigned to the finance manager to identify the resources, and his responsibility is to find out the resources, report with the higher officials and ask and select the sources to brought the money. That is his responsibility. Coordinates diverse organizational tasks. So he cannot go individually, because when he is finding the resources, economic resources or financial resources, he has to know about what is the present cost to the company. That should be possibly can get from the accounts department. So his responsibility is to coordinate with the other departments or other organizational departments, and compulsory he has to coordinate. So one important is he has to coordinate with the diverse organizational tasks and clusters jobs into units. Production is one cluster, marketing is one cluster, sales is one cluster. All are divided according to the groups. They have their own group goals as well as which is linked with the organizational goals. Establishes relationship among individuals, groups and departments. There is a meeting may be called for all the departmental managers to know about the progress of their individual departments and has to be guided by the general manager to reach the organizational goals. So one is responsible to the other department and he has to develop the relationship with the other departments as well as groups and individuals in the organization as well as departments. He has to coordinate. Establishes formal line of authority. Already we discussed in earlier slide that authority and responsibility are very important. To fix the authority and responsibility, we are dividing them into groups and we are making one as a group head, and here the head is responsible for make his subordinates to work. So a line of authority to be established. Allocates and deploys organizational resources. The finance manager who brought money will be divided among the accounts department, production department, sales department, purchase department, marketing department and office management. The general manager will allocate the resources between the organizations which were organized for the convenience of management. So resources were organized and create an environment for getting work done for accomplishing the goals effectively. So when the organization, when the work was organized, people are organized, and we can get the work from them, and that should be need to reach the goals of the organization. That is importance of organization. Then coming to the principles of the organization. One is a organization. Just a moment. Right, organization process. So the process, first one is we have to design the job. What work, the task required to achieve, goals are identified, activities are determined, division of work is to be done. Okay, so if a car we are manufacturing, we will ask one electricity department or electronics department. Their job is to fit all electronic type of equipments, testing, and they have to do that one. They should not interfere into the other departmental works, but they should have to be coordinate with the other departments while fixing their equipment. So the first we have to design the job, and the departmentalization. The organization has to be divided according to the, as we studied earlier, that is production, finance, marketing, human resources, office, like that. And we have to make them into a structure, and who has to report to who has to work under whom, and who will give the command, and who are able to follow, and that structure we have to build up. That is called hierarchy of the organization. Then authority and responsibility relationships. So it is assigning authority and responsibility among positions and people. Who is responsible for the whole department, and who is the authorized person report about the departmental issues to the head office, and all these should be fixed when we are organizing the department or organization. Another one is the coordination. It is the process of integrating the activities of various units and departments. Mechanisms are established to achieve unity of efforts. So the process of integrating the activities of various units. We have to integrate all the units, production department to be integrated with the electronics, electrical, mechanical, and people with the class 4 or whoever it may be. They should have to be coordinate with all them. You are not only one person to manufacture the output or the product. Your product, the product which is manufactured by different departments, and mechanisms are established to achieve unity of efforts. A product is coming out with the efforts of the all units. So we have to divide the organization, or we have to organize the jobs or departments, structure those departments to achieve the organizational goals. Okay, then coming to the principles of organization. One is work specialization, authority, chain of command, delegation, and span of control. These are the 5 important in the book. You can find more, and we will study these 5 points. One is work specialization. Okay, so it's a division of labor. Work specialization means people with the mechanical background who can manufacture the laptop, and those know about hardware, and they will assemble the parts. So we are dividing into one is software, another one is hardware, 2 components. People with the hardware specialization, they will assemble the laptop with keyboard, motherboard, okay, all those, mouse, desktop, camera, all these. So division of labor or work specialization is the degree to which organizational tasks are divided into separate jobs. Each employee is trained to perform specific tasks related to their specialized function. So the people of the hardware people are giving training how easily and how fast they can assemble the laptop. And benefits of specialization are many organizations are moving away from this principle as too much specialization isolates employee and narrow down their skills to perform routine tasks. So if there were no components, we can't import the components, and they will sit idle because there were no particular component. Mouse component is not there. That's why I can't do software work because I am specialized in hardware work, which leads to isolate the employee and narrow down their skill. Means they don't learn software, okay, and it makes the organization people dependent. So if there is all the people who knows hardware went to a function itself, and the software people sit idle and there is no production on particular day because there is a function of their friend, colleague at their home. That's why people who are know about the hardware went to the function. Whole day is cost to the company. So one is a work specialization. Okay, that is a principle. First principle is a specialization of the work. Then second one is a chain of command. Chain of command. We will go for authority, later chain of command. Span of control. Work specialization. Next one is span of control. Right. Span of control refers to the number of employees who report to one manager, and it is the number of direct reportees that a manager has whose result he is accountable. Okay. So the control of a manager will go to up to what level? Class 4 or beyond the class 4? That is called as a span of control. We have to fix a limit, and that manager has to walk up to where he has to walk. And the span may be wide or narrow, and wide span exists when a manager has large number of employees and a structure provides more autonomy. Narrow span of control, number of direct reportees that our manager has is small. 4 people are there, they are surrounded him, no problem. 100 are there, then it will be wide span of control. Narrow span allows manager to have more time, and direct reports tend to spark professional growth and advancement. With the few people you can discuss and execute, and that is possible. Okay, then coming to the unity of command, I think, right? Chain of command or unity of command. Chain of command is important concept to build a robust organizational structure. It is unbroken line of authority that ultimately links each individual with the top organizational position through a managerial position at each successive layer in between. Okay, so what we are fixing, organizing is CEO, President, Directors, CEO, functional general manager, functional manager, supervisor, and his subordinates. So the command will be from the chairman, next maybe directors, and these directors are in charge for the particular function, maybe for production or whatever it may be, or the CEO is responsible for commanding or guiding the people like that. Okay, that is chain of command is very important. So chain of command is based on two principles. One is unity of command and scalar principle. Unity of command is the only one manager or supervisor. So one person will regulate, control the other people, not two. So one can have only one boss like that. Scalar principle is that clear line of authority. Scalar chain already you know that, okay? From bottom to top, top to bottom. Has to work under whom, who has to report to whom is very important. That is a chain of command. Then coming to the delegation. So another important concept is authority. Related to authority is delegation. So it is the practice of turning over work related tasks or authority to employees or subordinates. Work related tasks or authority to employees or subordinates. Without delegation, managers do all the work themselves and underutilize their workers. So you have to delegate a worker to a work itself. He will finish that work and report to you. You ask them to do the work but not delegated a specific work, then it will become mess. Many people will work many works. Okay, that's why what they will do, somebody may do the work, somebody may not do the work. So the ability to delegate is crucial to the managerial success. Exactly. So you have to identify a person who can do that work and you have to delegate that work and you have to assist him to complete that work. So you have a ability to identify the skills of the people, those who can work. Okay. And another one is authority is delegated when discretion is vested in subordinate by a superior. Delegation is a downward transfer of authority from a manager to subordinate. You given a command to the supervisor that will reach to the last level of the person who is going to participate in that work. That is called delegation. So delegation is a process involves establishment of expected outcomes. Whenever the higher level CEO is delegating a work to the general manager, his expectation should be work should be completed with the help of functional managers, supervisors and workers. Then only he will assign the tasks and the exaction of responsibility for their accomplishment. So exact responsibility. Delegation leads to empowerment as employees have the freedom to contribute ideas and do their jobs in the best possible ways. So here what they have to do? They have to, during the delegation, people feel means sir identified me that I have a talent. So it is compulsory to exhibit my talent. That's why I have to finish my work within time. The worker or the subordinate felt like that and finished the work in the given time and will report to his boss. Okay, that is called delegation. Okay, span of control already we discussed. This is next unit that we will discuss later. Okay, in this video we understood about three concepts. One is importance, principles of organizing, importance of organizing, and organization process. Next, principles of organizing. Okay, principles of organizing I explained in detail. Okay, right. That is our organization of first video. So what may be the next in this video? We are going to understand about second video will be span of management. That video we will learn next next video. Just we will understand meaning of organizing. Again we will understand about the span of management. Okay students, bye. Meet you in next video. You go through the material and this information is available in that material, and still explanation is required. You can watch the other videos also. Okay students, bye, take care.